Hi, and welcome to On Campus, the show about the serious and not so serious. I'm Maria Garcia, and with me today are my good buddies, Chris Reynolds and Fatima Tamati. How are you guys?
Fabulous.
All right.
So good.
That's good. Today's, for starters, we have been covering a lot of violent incidents this semester, including Baltimore and unfortunately Texas. Here's our own Richie Brown with more.
Late last week, a cartoonish comic event was taking place in the conservative suburb of Garland, Texas. This was no ordinary event. The Muhammad comic event was held at a school, and everyone in the town was encouraged to join in and present their best representation of Muhammad, a religious and symbolic figure for the people of the Islamic faith. This isn't the first time Muhammad has been depicted. A local magazine in France shared their idea of how Muhammad looked like their satirical magazine's editor. This angered Muslims, and sadly 12 people were killed. Fortunately, this wasn't the case in Texas. Categorized as a freedom of expression art show, many people were still enraged by this, saying it's a sign of disrespect to the religion. Two armed men, Elton Simpson and Nadir Sufi, attempted to attack the event using semi-automatic rifles, but the Garland SWAT team was already guarding the event in anticipation of any potential attacks. After the attack, ISIS released a statement saying, "We say to the defenders of the cross, the U.S., that future attacks are going to be harsher and worse. The Islamic State soldiers will inflict harm on you and the grace of Allah. The future is just around the corner." For On Campus, I'm Richie Brown.
So that was super interesting. It was a great package done by Richie. I want to actually start off with a tweet first, and then we can go into just discussion. So actually, if you look at Twitter, YQ says, #Texas shooting. Yes, let's try our best to completely provoke Muslims, and if they get provoked, it's their fault. This is definitely a sarcastic tone from this specific tweeter, but it definitely sets the tone, I feel like, for what a lot of people are talking about, at least on social media.
It's interesting to me because they specifically had this coming, they foresaw it, it's in a way they kind of they planned it. To know that they spent $10,000 on security on this specific event, knowing what the event was about and so on and so forth, I feel they had it coming for themselves, and it's like they provoked it, they wanted this to happen. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, so I think there's definitely a lot of controversy going on with the Middle East, obviously, and the stereotypes posed on Muslims as a lot of other ethnicities. It's a very blurry line. Do we respect freedom of speech, or do we not do something that would offend others? Regardless,
yeah.
Some people might not know that drawing something of religious value may not, it may not matter to someone, but it may matter to someone else. So it's definitely this really weird blurred line. I definitely don't think that violence should ever be involved in this specific matter, but it's definitely a give or take. How radicals will react regardless of what religion or ethnicity, whatever they may be. So there's just no point in, adding fuel to the fire, in my opinion.
Exactly, and with this whole ISIS thing coming out and saying that they're taking credit for it, and it's just this whole, it's really a ripple effect, of what they did. So that's always something. But anyways, moving on. Before you know it, the 2016 presidential elections will be here. Which means it's time to brush up on your political knowledge. Fatima, can you let us know a little more about what the upcoming elections have for us?
Yeah, definitely, and thanks. So far, we have a variety of candidates in the running. Surprisingly, a majority of those who are running are actually from the Republican Party. So I'll start with some Republicans first. We have, as you can see, we have Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Following that, there's Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who actually is Ron Paul's son. And if you remember, Ron Paul actually ran for office 3 times, failed each time, but who knows, his son might be more lucky. A few more Republicans.
Persistent.
Exactly. A few more Republicans to mention include Marco Rubio of Florida and retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson. And finally, we have a lady in the Republican Party, former CEO of the Hewlett-Packard company, HP Computers, and actually the first woman to lead a Fortune 100 company, Carly Fiorina, joins in on the mix. Now that we have that, let's get into just the Democrats real quick. The first is U.S. Senator of Vermont, Bernie Sanders.
You look scary. I'm sorry.
And former U.S. Secretary Hillary Clinton. So
Scary.
there are a lot of candidates running right now. And although Jeb Bush, who's Republican as well, hasn't confirmed whether or not he's in or not, he's actually a pretty big shoe-in for Republicans. And he's also George W. Bush's brother. So if he gets it, that's his dad, him, and his brother, which would be crazy.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of scary too. I mean, their whole family, like, you know, 2 Bushes. We've already had 2 Bushes. Do we need another Bush in office?
Yeah, and currently Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush are actually the front runners for the Republican Party, and Hillary Clinton is the shoe-in for Democrats. But I guess we'll wait and see what happens once the campaigns come out and the debates. But before going into discussion, let's go ahead and get to Twitter. So Garrett Humberston tweets, the 2016 Republican field might be the most diverse ever for either party. And then there's like a meme, and it says old white men. So it's really interesting. This specific election is crazy. It's never been this diverse. I mean, we have a Hispanic man running, Marco Rubio. We have an African-American Republican who is amazing, Ben Carson. He's amazing in the sense of neuroscience. He was the first neurosurgeon to successfully remove 2 conjoined twins at the head. So that's crazy. We have 2 women, so it's crazy.
And one of them was the president of the computer company, right?
HP, Carly
HP.
Fiorina,
Okay.
for 4 years, yeah.
That is very intense. And yes, it is very diverse. And I feel like after Obama's presidency, a lot of people felt more welcomed to join the elections this year. It opened doors to a lot of people, you know. Like you said, it's very diverse this year. And I mean, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah, and although it's super progressive and a lot of people are joining in on the mix, some people on Twitter aren't really agreeing with it. So we have one actually from San Antonio, hashtag election 2016. Which candidates are faking it on Twitter? Short answer, all of them. Hashtag TCOT, hashtag politics. So although it's like a really diverse group, not everyone agrees. So, I mean, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I just love the fact that so many different types of people are coming and bringing it out there. So I think it's definitely something we can move forward with.
On the Democratic side, I think Hillary Clinton is the forerunner as of right now, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she has a lot of experience, so I understand why.
And
but
then again, the question is, we've already had 1 Clinton in office. Do we want another Clinton?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the votes say. So, 2016. All right, so let's take away from politics for a bit. And actually, a few college roommates played detective, and in their case, it helped. Chris, can you let us know what's going on with that?
Okay, yes, I will definitely tell you about the gumshoes in training. So, a college student was caught spitting and adding cleaning fluid to a roommate's food. Now, a video shows the University of South Carolina student Haley King taking food out of the refrigerator and contaminating it. King's roommate became suspicious after arguments about wanting her to move out. The roommates decided to set up a camera in the apartment for safety reasons, and when she was away. Before seeing the footage, one of the girls did eat the tainted food, but don't worry, she's fine. Tampering with someone's food is a Class C felony, and if convicted, could be serving time in prison for up to 20 years. Now, I don't know about you, but apparently this is one woman who obviously does not deserve to be out in public. She's a member of someone who should not be, like I said, in the outside world.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that this story comes up because 20 years is a lot for any specific thing. And she, you know, thank goodness her roommate didn't die, but I guess it's the intention of doing some harm.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of people think that 20 years might be a little too much for this girl. You know, maybe she was bullied. Maybe, you know, we don't know the
Right.
intentions behind why she did what she did. But to be honest, I feel, 20 years is a good amount. I think it's a very good amount. Why? Because she knew what she was doing. She
Right.
knew that potentially she could harm someone more than they, what if the person was allergic? What if you just never know? And just taking it to this extent, especially the fact that she was doing it behind their backs, and it's a very sketchy situation. Like, what would be her next step after that if she didn't get caught?
Now, we do have a tweet on this subject,
All right.
and it's from 48 Hours. It says, she was spitting into her roommate's food in the refrigerator. Ew, she should really get life. Really? No, really? Hashtag Haley King. And I mean, ultimately, that's, like I said, one of those, deep personal things.
And there she
And I'm
is.
sorry, yes.
At
I'm sorry, this
22.
girl looks just too much like Tanya Harding. I'm sorry. But,
It's just really interesting how, for me, when I first heard this story, just how crazy it is now with videos. You can literally record anything
Yeah.
and just get, like, what if they didn't record her?
Yeah.
She would have never gotten caught, kept doing it, and like you said, something way worse could have happened. Like,
Yeah.
she could have landed in the
Exactly.
hospital. So kudos to the roommates on their women's intuition and recording it, because now they have full proof. So it's going to be a
Absolutely.
really easy case. It's just a matter of the judge deciding how long she's going
And
to
she
be
also
punished.
admitted to it too when she was, what else can you say if your face
Exactly.
is all over the video?
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. But we have more for you. When we come back, we finally get to see a whole new cast of supervillains, and we ask ourselves, should we really expect rich people to just hand over their money when asked? That and just more in just a minute. Hi, welcome back to On Campus. Up next, we have Chris with some new information regarding the up-and-coming new supervillain turned good movie. Chris, we know you're a huge DC comic fan. What do you have in store for us?
okay, DC comic fans have been waiting a long time for this. Suicide Squad. Now, here's some footage of the filming currently in production from our friends at Entertainment City. Now, this highly anticipated film about the bad guys turned superhero is already making headlines. But what exactly is a Suicide Squad, you might be asking? It's a fictional government agency consisting of reformed and incarcerated villains. Now, the premise, unconventional heroes promise shortened sentence, but only if the group participates in the high-risk government-ran missions, which may not end in their favor, hence the name Suicide Squad. Now, some of the actors will include Will Smith, Jared Leto, and Margot Robbie. This film will be a live-action debut for most of these villains who, up until now, have been nothing but comic book or TV animated characters. It's scheduled for release in August of next year. And I, myself, am super excited about this movie. One of which, my favorite characters is Harley Quinn, who got her start on the Batman animated series back in the 1990s. Since then, she's been nothing but an animated cartoon. But she has become one of the biggest people in the DC animated world.
I believe it,
universe.
yeah. Big money, I know, is being spent on this production and this whole movie, the access to it and everything.
And I only mentioned a couple of the actors, but here we can see some more of the actors and which characters they're actually playing on the screen.
Bane from Batman 3. What's his name? Oh, He's in the movie. Oh my God, what's his name? Well, the one next to Jared Leto. I forgot his name.
I had all their names written down, but I don't
But
have it
I'm
anymore.
super excited for Jared Leto because he has big shoes to fill for the Joker, with Heath Ledger being the last one. So I'm really excited because I know he's gonna kill it. Tom Hardy, that's who played Bane. He'll kill it. He was amazing as Bane. So it's cool that they're bringing him back on as a different character.
And also, one quick side note. Now, once again, we have Will Smith. I want to say Deadshot, but I'm wrong. But no. Deadpool. Thank you. now get this. His whole family is into the business. For example, Deadshot. Thank you.
Deadshot.
The wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, she of course is, take that, Fish Mooney in the TV show Gotham, and their son, Jaden Smith, he is set to be, not that way, this way, not that way, there we go. He is set to be Static Shock in an upcoming film scheduled for release in 2016. So he's going to play Virgil Hawkins in the movie. And so the whole family is into the DC comics, and this is just beyond belief for me.
Cool. Did you have a tweet too that you wanted to share?
Yes, I did. Let's see. Where's my tweet? Here we go. My tweet. This is from a girl named Gail Simone. She says Harley is going to be huge in Suicide Squad. Huge. She will drive this movie to success if they get her right. And there was one more tweet down there. Yes. Harley is brilliant, complex, intriguing, but also fun. She has every potential to shine. So, totally, she totally deserves it. So, those are our tweets. That's our movie. I love it, and I know you will too when it comes out.
Do you think a lot of people would go in and watch it? Like, I know on set we're all fans for this DC, you know, upcoming movies and stuff like that, but...
Well, then again, you have to understand now. Me, I am a die-hard comic book geek, and not everyone's going to appreciate the DC world as much as I am. It's like, you know, when I brought this up, people were like, who's the DC Comics? Who is this?
Exactly,
What was what? But it's like, and I'm educating them, it's like, there is a lot of die-hard fans out there who will follow this show to the end.
Exactly, especially because Marvel has been leading for a while, especially with the Avengers. But I guess we'll just wait and see once again
Marvel
in 2016.
Leading. Dream on.
So anyway,
Dream
let's.
on.
Heyo.
Dream on.
So usually, besides movies, asking for a favor isn't a bad thing. But one person decided that the best way to ask the creator of Minecraft for money was to insult the guy. So here's our very own Justin Peraza with more on what happened exactly.
You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
If you're gonna ask for something, don't be a complete psychopath about it. And here's an idiot who clearly didn't get that memo. So Marcus Notch Person earned a staggering $1.5 billion off of developing the game Minecraft. His family's pretty much set for life. On the flip side, struggling indie game developer Amber Cole feels that Notch owes everyone a new game, and he owes her some of that sweet cheddar. Amber went to Twitter and started bashing Notch, including making a video that was quickly pulled from Twitter along with her accounts, saying that he should get off his ass and start making more games. After Notch made a couple little jokes about her thoughts of him, Amber decided the best course of action to take is to go into full-on rage mode, telling him he has an ego, saying F off and F you, calling him the C word, and it's not until after all of this that she says, I'm a marginalized trans developer, and I think you owe me reparations for having slain me this morning. Because of course, the best time to ask for someone's money is after you call him the C word. Now, I know that some people would say, well, if other billionaires like Bill Gates can donate a bunch of his money to bettering the world, then it should be in Notch's best interest to do the same thing. And to that I say, no! Notch earned that money, and it's his to do as he sees fit. Nobody, I mean nobody, has the right to tell him otherwise. To Amber, I have to say that you are nothing more than a self-entitled, egotistical moron that doesn't deserve a job in the video game industry. I'm an open-minded individual, but calling someone the C word, then trying to bounce back by saying that you're transgender is nothing short of pathetic. Enjoy the post office, because you're probably going to end up working there. I'm Justin for On Campus. Back to you guys.
That is ridiculous. How can you expect to get money from, I mean, I understand the situations, I understand why people do this and, you know, whatnot. However, expecting someone to just give you the money when they don't want to, I mean, it is their hard-earned money, and whichever way they get it or spend it is up to them. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Mike should have spent the money, like, when asked, or?
No, like you said, it's his money. He earned it. He can do whatever he
Absolutely.
whatever he wants with it.
Yeah. What's interesting about this is, like, from one developer to the next, it's very intricate. You have to code. You have to make a game that's interactable with people on different platforms. So the woman should, of all people, know how much time it takes to make one game. And I mean, maybe she's a fan because she wants this guy Notch to do more and more games, but being a developer is really hard, and having a consistently successful money-making game is no joke. Like, it's ridiculous, but I mean, that's a Twitter feud that we'll just leave to the games. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
but going into actually something that you and I had talked about earlier, Maria, one of the most expensive homes in the country was off the market for a while, but now it's back up, and renovations are underway again. Go ahead and share with us what's going on, Maria.
It's an insane story. David Siegel and model wife Jackie are on the mission once again to finish building the largest home in America, located in Orlando, Florida, near Disney World. Take a look at this house from a documentary on Jackie Siegel's called The Queen of Versailles. Give me a sec just here.
I'm excited.
Oh, give me just a sec. There we go.
In Las Vegas, we looked out our window and we kind of copied the top 3 floors in comparison to them. Probably should have used smaller envelopes because it turned out to be the largest home in America.
We never sought out to build the biggest house in America. It's just, it's like kind of happened.
This is so beautiful.
This is our grand ballroom. We have the grand staircase on each end.
It's a palace. Can you imagine, like, the dances and the parties?
I said, well, I'd like to have a bowling alley. And then he says, I want a health spot. And then I said, we need maids' quarters.
I forgot how many kitchens, 10 kitchens. We have a sushi bar.
2 tennis courts, 1 will be a stadium court, full-size baseball field, which will double as the parking lot when we have parties.
But this is our ice skating / roller rink.
The children have their own wing.
I mean, and it just goes on and on and on. Necessarily, the Siegels have been on a mission to complete their project that started in 2004. However, due to the recession of 2008, they were forced to place the house on sale, marketing at a whopping $9 million. Of course, they had it with no buyers. But the Siegels were able to get the funding, their housing renovations project back in action. Needs for improvements are still being made by the Queen, Miss Siegel. I mean, it is just bonkers how big this house is. 90,000 square feet. Imagine that.
Wow.
It's crazy because Hearst Castle is, you know, a huge thing that everyone goes to in San Simeon. Like, that's a huge historical site, and with, like, the Hearst family and the empire. So it's really interesting to see someone else kind of, like, not take their shine, but to kind of get that whole, like, ooh, look at my house, it's super big. But I'm excited to see it, and it's cool that even though there was the recession, that they, you know, still were able to truck along and finish it. So, I mean, I heard about a sushi bar. I personally would love that. So,
do you think they would be open to the public? I mean, they do say that the reason why this house is so, like, spectacular is because it is a single family home, varying on the size and whatnot.
Yeah, and it actually, I think it was $90 million that they put on the market, right?
Yeah.
It was 90. Okay, cool.
Who
That's
has that money
a
during
lot
the
of money.
recession,
Who
you
in
know?
their right mind's going to buy a house,
Oh my
no matter how big,
gosh.
for $90 million?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy, but
it is extremely crazy.
Well, from spending a bunch of money to caring about money, not caring about money so much, one person decided to drop her career just so she can do what she wants. Susie Howe is going to explain more on that. Take it away, Susie.
If you are constantly thinking you need a vacation, maybe what you really need is a new life, wrote Noelle Hancock, the author of My Year with Illinois. Her recent article, Why I Gave Up a $95,000 Job to Move to an Island and Scoop Ice Cream, has gone viral on social media since last week. Many people applauded her for her courageous act of putting her own happiness before money and social status. But some took her action as selfish, self-centered, and disconnected from the society. They believe that ditching a 9-to-5 job doesn't automatically bring happiness to people. This is what Noelle had to say to Matt Lauer on Today.
Graduated from college, and it was kind of part of the grind, and one job kind of led to another, but I always thought in the back of my head, gosh, wouldn't it be great just to chuck it all and move to the Caribbean? And then I was just looking for a different kind of life where people were still engaged. And
so would you leap out of your familiar life to go after your heart's desires? This is Susie Hao for On Campus in Fremont.
What do you guys think? Do you guys have the guts to do such a thing?
If I did, I would. That's awesome to just literally leave. That'd be so kudos to her. That's so inspirational, especially with finals next week and everyone just stressing out about some people are graduating, trying to find jobs.
I met a band actually at Starbucks who actually said something like that. They were like, we asked, how is it that you could just leave everything, And they said, you know what? You don't look back, you just leave. So they're on this tour, on this bus, and, they're just gone, leaving everything behind.
I don't know, but I think this is a nice, this is a feel-good story, a nice way to end, to end the show.
Of course.
And, it's nice because it's the polar opposite of the crazy house, crazy rich house in Florida, and ended on such a nice note.
Yeah.
It was such a good story. Well,
simple living.
Beautiful story.
Yes.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's On Campus. I'm Maria Garcia, and with us again is Chris Reynolds and Fatima Etemadi. And don't forget, Mother's Day is this Sunday, so ensure to give your mom something nice. Have a great and
I know I'll give my mom something nice.
Of course.
Bye.
Thank you.